Bellator 286. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Main event, Patricio Pitbull fights Adam Borics. We got a pretty damn good Bellator card. We're going to talk about each of the matchups. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and make sure to share the video as well. Let's get into the first fight of the night. It is between Weber Almeida and Ryan Lilley. It's going to be Weber Almeida as the pick, I think, fairly obviously. He's a wide favorite for good reason here. Very dangerous kickboxer, kind of karate-esque style, a little bit of a Machida flow in his game. He fights well from range. He closes distance well. He does have good explosiveness, has some finishing ability. Granted, at 6-1, he's 34, so it's really like a now or never situation for him. He fights Ryan Lilley, bit of a hand-me fight. Lilley's scrappy, but he's not really great anywhere. He can kind of get bullied a bit by good pressure fighters and guys that are just more superior in the stand-up game. He has okay hands, will mix it up inside and be willing to brawl a bit. He could get touched up. I think Almeida should get the knockout here. I think he'll find a good counter strike and put Lilley to sleep. Bit of a mismatch to start off this Bellator card. Should be a Weber Almeida showcase fight. He is a -300 favorite, and I think for good reason. His opponent, Ryan Lilley, +245 as the dog. The pick is Almeida with high confidence here. I don't think this fight's close. Next fight on the card, Bobby Seronio III versus Miguel Peimbert. I like Bobby Seronio III to win the fight. Miguel Peimbert is a pretty tough guy coming in and taking this fight. He's not coming here to lose. He did lose his last bout. It was like super low level, like regional scene type look. Looked like it was in a garage, the fight that he was at. It was like daytime bout. But ultimately, he showed to me that he's a pretty damn tough fighter. He's very active from the bottom. So if Seronio does find himself on top, Peimbert is going to be working to try to look for finishes from the bottom. Submission attempts, getting back up to his feet. Seronio's definitely, I think, the superior striker. I like his style. It's kind of a mix of traditional kickboxing, and then he'll switch to a karate stance. So he almost has like two styles to his stand-up game. I think his wrestling's pretty solid. He should have a lot of advantages over Peimbert here, but the toughness of Peimbert will keep him in it. I think Bobby Seronio III wins this fight by a unanimous decision, probably outstriking Peimbert. They may go to the floor a bit. I think Seronio will control from the top if there, but Peimbert, expect him to be active from the bottom if he is under Seronio. He's a really big underdog. The lines here are crazy, crazy wide. Seronio's -600. Peimbert is +450. Seronio definitely should get the win, but there's no betting action there. It's way too wide of a line. And I mean, Seronio's only got 2 pro bouts. His opponent only has 2 pro bouts. To me, sit out, watch this action. Young fighters that are really developing, especially Seronio, Bellator's looking to push. This should be a win for him and a clear one, but at -600, no betting action there. Next fight on the card, Sumiko Inaba versus Nadine Mandiau. Listen, Nadine's record sucks. She's 2-5, but she's scrappy. This is not an easy fight. Sumiko Inaba can't totally overlook this girl and give her no respect, and I think that happens a lot in the fight game. You see 2-5, and you're like, this girl's awful. Listen, she can fight. She mixes it up well in close range. She's scrappy with the hands. I'd say she's like the ultimate low-level journeywoman that wants it, though. She's looking to win her fight. She's not throwing these fights here. She's not 2-5 like that dude you saw in celebrity boxing fighting against KSI, and she's just going to lay down. She's coming to win. This girl's game. But Inaba is vastly superior in every department. How does she get it done? Well, if you look at Nadine's 4 recent losses, right? Decision, submission there, and decision. Sumiko Inaba, I'm feeling like because she's such a KO artist, I know she does have 1 submission here against 2-0 Randy Field. I feel like Inaba may end up actually getting this fight going the full 3. It's very possible. Inaba's the pick. I'm going to ever so slightly pick her by a 3rd round finish. I'll say submission, but I'm not feeling super good about it. I'm kind of thinking we might be able to go the distance here. If Inaba gets a KO, that would be excellent for her. Mandiau, she does sit inside and mix it up a bit, and there's moments where she's a little bit slow on the return. I think Inaba could land counter strikes, but the girl's tough. I'm going Inaba. I'm kind of thinking it might be submission, maybe even club and sub here, but I think Nadine's going to be scrappy on the feet. Inaba just clearly better. She's not losing this fight, but you can't completely overlook her 2-5 opponent here. Lines obviously extremely wide, as they should be. Minus 800 Inaba, plus 555 for Nadine. We'll pick Inaba to get the finish here, but not a fight you're betting on. It's a huge mismatch. Next bout. My guy, Lance Gibson Jr. fights Dominic Clark. I like Lance Gibson to win this fight. He was originally supposed to fight Chris Avila, but now he's got Dominic Clark. Experienced vet Dominic Clark. I mean, 15-12. That's journeyman record. I mean, the guy, he's a pressure fighter who comes to scrap, right? But if it doesn't go his way, he breaks. He's a proven breakable fighter because he has 11 of his 12 losses by finish. I saw him break in a previous bout. I think that Lance Gibson's going to break him here. I think Gibson should probably work towards getting a win by submission, going back to those grappling roots. But I think he definitely has an advantage everywhere. Better striker, definitely more technical with the kickboxing. Gibson's southpaw as well. He's a really good athlete. On the floor, he's going to have huge advantages. I think his boxing combos will probably crush Dominic Clark. Like, don't be shocked if Gibson gets a TKO here either, but I am going to lean it towards submission. It should not be competitive. Lance Gibson for the win. Definitely getting a finish, so maybe inside of the distance could be a bet. We'll see what that prop looks like when it drops. As far as the lines right now, Gibson's minus 500, Dominic Clark plus 400 as the underdog. I like the obvious favorite, Lance Gibson here. Shouldn't be close. As Bellator prelims always are, we got crazy-ass favorites. Next fight, this heats up. This is fun. This is a really good lightweight fight between prospects. J.J. Wilson, the Maori kid, versus Vladimir Tokov. I'm going to be picking J.J. Wilson to get the win, but not going to be an easy fight. These guys are both very well-rounded fighters. Tokov, a little bit awkward, I will say, with the stand-up at times, and I could see him getting caught with a straight punch. This dude throws this really wide uppercut with the chin straight up. Better fighters are going to find counters to that. J.J. Wilson definitely could. Granted, Tokov still proven durable. He has a pretty decent wrestling base to go alongside what I would call an athletic and light-footed stand-up style with some technical inefficiencies in the boxing he makes up for, though, with good athleticism. J.J. Wilson is the technically better guy. He's very slick with his submissions. I would call him a quality grappler. His kickboxing is good, very Thai boxing-esque, light on that front foot. I think he's going to get the win here by a competitive decision, beating Vladimir Tokov. I like J.J. Wilson. He's a good prospect. Tokov not coming here to lose, though. This is a difficult matchup. The lines are like even Stevens here. Right now, J.J. Wilson minus 108. Tokov is minus 112. This is Pick'em's fight for good reason. You got both good prospects Bellator signed, and I think the winner here, is going to get a little more of that push. Recent losses for both guys, forgivable. You see the loss to Gadzi Rabanadov for J.J. Wilson, fair loss. Rabanadov's good. Chris Gonzalez beats Vladimir Tokov, what was that? 2 years ago now, so it was a while back, and then he bounced back and he beat Denyo Scatizi, but he was tested a bit there. I just see Wilson having a more complete game already, and I see him winning a decision, and he'll find himself probably on top of Tokov at some points as well. J.J. Wilson, the Maori kid, to get the win and to get that hype train rolling again. We got to get the momentum back after taking his first pro loss. Next fight of the night, it is Keoni Diggs and Ricardo Seixas. Listen, Keoni Diggs is going to win this fight, and if he doesn't win it by knockout, it is a terrible drop in his stock. He should destroy Seixas. If you look at Seixas' losses, all three of them, KO, KO, KO. He's known for getting KO'd. It's because his striking, man, he doesn't move his head. He's there to be hit. He's a sitting duck for power strikes. Keoni Diggs is not a huge puncher necessarily. He's actually known for good submission skills on the mat, but he definitely can box. I like him out of the southpaw stance. He's got pretty good technique with his boxing. Not super powerful, but he's crisp with the punches, and I think it'll be more of an accumulation of damage on Seixas, who I just see as way too hittable. I think that Keoni Diggs will get a second or third round KO TKO. I wouldn't be shocked if he's beaten up Seixas striking, then Seixas and him go to the floor, and maybe Diggs looks for a submission from there and gets himself a sub win. But I'm going to lean that KO TKO in the second or third round for Keoni Diggs. I think he's clearly better than Seixas here. I mean, Seixas is under the Bellator banner, but he has recent knockout losses in the regional scene at the top line in LFA. It's the best of the best on the regional scene, but still not necessarily Bellator contendership caliber. I mean, if you look at Diggs' losses, split decision against Weichel, very forgivable. Super competitive fight against Bobby King. He loses close. Bobby King's pretty damn game. I think Keoni Diggs gets to win. He should beat Seixas by KO TKO. Now, he's a big favorite in this spot. He's sitting at minus 279. Excuse me, actually, is he 279? No, he's upwards of minus 350. I'm looking at the fight under. Minus 350. He's wide. Plus 285 for Seixas. It's for good reason, though. Keoni Diggs, I think, has this fight. KO TKO. That could definitely be a prop. Maybe inside distance in case of the sub if you're looking to bet that. But Keoni Diggs, very confident pick. He should destroy Seixas here. It should not be close. Next fight on the card. It's Kazarmad Bestaev versus Khalid Murtazaliev. Listen, Murtazaliev should kill Bestaev. If he doesn't knock him out, I honestly think Murtazaliev, the hype train's done. Let him go. It's over. Listen, Bestaev's chin is super high. He's so hittable for overhand punches. I mean, he's super tall at 6'6". I know he's given up a ton of height here, but he gets dropped in every fight that I see him in. Looking at the last one, he beats Ty Guerder. Honestly, pretty good win for him there to get that. But if you look at the Ultimate Fight, on the Contender Series, he got crushed by Phil Hawes, some regional scene knockout losses, wins over guys that are just not caliber at all, not quality. Khalid Murtazaliev has good overhand punches, which I think lead him to success here. Now, I will say, Bestaev's durability is in question, and it's also because he lacks those natural fighter reflexes. He started martial arts very late. I think he was 25 when he started doing martial arts. That is an extremely late start, and there's going to be deficiencies that you have starting that late. And one of them for him, I think, is the head movement and reflexes. He's there to get hit. Overhand punches should land. Now, Murtazaliev also has good grappling. He's a stance switch style of striker, very patient with his pressure attack, has a decent overhand punch, was supposed to dominate his last fight, ends up losing to Arnold Adams. I'm going to pick Murtazaliev by KO TKO, but if he doesn't get the knockout here, it's going to be it's bad, man, because Murtazaliev has some hype as a prospect, and that Adams fight really dropped the stock significantly. He should come out and destroy Bestaev if he wants to restore any hope of him looking towards Bellator contendership. If he wins a competitive decision, I think Bellator is going to see it as, okay, this guy's not the level that maybe we expected him to be. Murtazaliev, though, I will pick by knockout. It should not be close. As far as the lines, Bestaev plus 270, Murtazaliev minus 325. Murtazaliev should be good to go as a pick and a play, because I think he should destroy Bestaev. He has to. Let's get to our next fight. We got tons of prelims here. It's Richard Palencia and CJ Hamilton. Always fun to see undefeated fighters versus veterans. Listen, Palencia has a problem. He doesn't finish fights. He's not a finisher. His volume's too low. I don't know if it could be he has a fear of the gas tank fleeting, so he doesn't want to let, a very high volume attack go. But what I do see is a pretty tight kickboxing style, good defensively, pretty decent offense, willing to embrace the grind a bit with solid wrestling too. I think he wins here by decision. CJ Hamilton is not super technical. He's really athletic, and he fights comfortably out of both stances. He's got decent punching. At times, though, he's off balance and awkward, and he really struggles with guys who are going to pressure him. Palencia matches up really well against Hamilton. I don't think he goes out there and gets an impressive finish. I think Hamilton's going to go the full 3 and make it a fairly competitive bout, but Palencia should win. He's 10-0. He'll move to 11-0 here, but remember, he's 32 years of age, bantamweight division. To me, he's got to get going as far as if he wants to be a contender, because he's definitely, I don't want to say old for the weight class. He's not, but he's an older, bantamweight. 32, he's got a good 3-4 years left that he has to make his mark and run at. And I'm going to say Palencia wins. Yes, a knockout for his stock would do wonders, but realistically, he's going to win another decision here. Mixing in some wrestling, pressing CJ Hamilton against the cage, touching him up a bit with the boxing, he'll get himself a unanimous decision. Now, Palencia, the line, he's minus 279. CJ Hamilton at plus 224. I like Richard Palencia by a decision, and I like him with high confidence as well. Next fight on the card. Max Rohskopf back for more. He takes on Mike Hamel. The pick is Mike Hamel. Hamel is game as fuck. He's gritty. He's tough. He doesn't quit. What is Max Rohskopf known for best? Breaking in his UFC bout. You remember this fight here. It was against Austin Hubbard. I actually did a reaction video when I first started the channel on it, and it blew up. It got over 50,000 views. Rohskopf, I honestly think, is going to get TKO'd. He's an excellent wrestler, very grind style. His last one, win over Jordan Bailey. That fight, he laid and he kind of prayed. Bailey's 6 wins and 4 losses. The record's not that great. I know Mike Hamel's record is ugly as well, but let's look at this fight. The Adam Borics fight. Borics is in the main event. Hamel gave him a really difficult out. Mike Hamel, to me, is extremely game. He's on a 2-fight win streak. He's got solid wrestling, but I actually think he's got the better boxing than Rohskopf. Not nearly as good with his athleticism, but I think the cardio could be a big factor here. If Rohskopf's getting some takedown stuff, why wouldn't he get stopped in the corner again? He did it once, why not again? I feel like Mike Hamel can take him by a TKO here. I'm going to say Mike Hamel with the 2nd or 3rd round TKO. I could see Rohskopf having success early, gassing later, Hamel letting the hands go, and breaking Rohskopf. I'm going to go with Mike Hamel, a guy proven durable, gritty and tough, versus Rohskopf, who we've seen fold under adversity. You have to go Mike Hamel here. Hamel, the pick, he is sitting at very slight plus money, plus 114 as the underdog. Rohskopf, minus 129 the favorite. We are going with Mike Hamel, the dog, for the late TKO. I think the hands will be a difference maker. The wrestling, I could see Rohskopf even getting Hamel down early, but later in the fight, Mike Hamel is going to keep coming forward, keep coming forward, keep coming forward. I think there's a good chance Rohskopf breaks and gets stopped here. We're going to go Hamel TKO in the 3rd round. Next fight on the card, it brings us to our featured prelim of the night. It's Islam Mamedov versus Nick Brown. Listen, I'm picking Islam Mamedov to win. I would love to see Nick Brown beat him, though. Mamedov, to me, is the great value version of Islam Makhachev. He's definitely a lot less athletic, but he does have that very good wrestling grind style. The man will embrace the grind. Now, I know he got a really impressive win in his last fight. He did a one-off and fought at Eagle FC, destroys Zach Zane, submits him in the 1st round. But it's Zach Zane. What's Zach Zane's record? 15-12, bro. Come on. That's a give-me fight from Mamedov. When he's fighting the best of the best, he's barely losing to Benson, so he's game. He beat Brent Primus on a split decision. Expect a grinding decision win over Nick Brown. Mamedov is not an entertaining fighter necessarily. He's a guy that's going to embrace the grind, most likely looks to take Nick Brown down and weather him with just lay, kind of pray, a little bit of peppering shots. Brown, though, is good with his jiu-jitsu, black belt level, but Brent Primus is extremely good with his jiu-jitsu, and he got controlled by Mamedov for the 3 rounds. Yes, Primus was more active off his back than Mamedov was on top, but the fighter on top's usually winning the fight. Could be a similar situation here. I'm going to take Mamedov to win a decision. I like Nick Brown, though. He's really tough. He's got good, dirty boxing. I feel like his jiu-jitsu is definitely there, but he's not going to find the sub on Mamedov. Brown's going to do well against a good amount of guys in Bellator, but they're kind of giving him a nightmare matchup with the OV at the end. You see Mamedov as a confident pick. Now, out of all the guys with the OVs at the end, he's not actually a crazy wide favorite here. If you look, I mean, it's fair money. It looks okay as far as the line, the official line, because I know the Tapology lines are normally off by a bit, but actually they're accurate. Minus 215, Mamedov, plus 180 for Nick Brown. Listen, I think Mamedov wins, kind of like embracing the grind, out-fitching him, John Fitch style. Kind of lay prey. I'm not thinking it's a super entertaining fight. I love to see Nick Brown get some success going on the feet and maybe stun Mamedov, but most likely it's going to be Mamedov working his game. I mean, Mamedov's okay on the feet too. He's got decent kickboxing. Like I said, I really feel like he's like a B version of Islam Makhachev, and I think he beats Nick Brown on a decision in maybe a forgettable fight, because right now all of Mamedov's fight in Bellator have been forgettable. Let's see. Maybe he can make his mark here and get an impressive win, but I don't think so. I think he gets a grind-heavy decision win, control with the wrestling. We'll pick Mamedov. Let's jump towards the main card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to smash that like button, and if you're new, subscribe. It's Juan Archuleta and Enrique Barzola. I love Juan Archuleta in this spot. Listen, Barzola's not an easy out. The guy's a very good wrestler, pressure-heavy game. You look at his fight against Magomedov. He was able to do well and even get Magomedov down a couple of times. He scrambles well. He's not going to be easy for Archuleta to take down here. Archuleta, known as a very good wrestler. I think he could definitely land takedowns here. If you look at the striking, though, Archuleta, to me, has a clear advantage in the speed department. I think he's overall better in the kickboxing. Barzola, when I see the stand-up, I do feel like it is a little bit stiff, kind of a mid stand-up game. He's not the most entertaining style. The guy's got good wrestling, though. If he's able to get on top, he can do damage. Archuleta is top line. This is the former champion of the world here. Let's not forget about Juan Archuleta. The dude is still top caliber. He lost to Stotts in the last one, but he was winning the fight up until the knockout. Archuleta should win. I will pick him to get it done by a decision, getting himself back on track, breaking that losing streak for 2 fights, which, honestly, Archuleta can come back from. And I do think Archuleta can do really good work. As far as this Bellator bantamweight division goes, he's still a top caliber guy, granted 35 years of age. We'll see how much longer he has towards the top. I think he's got to beat Barzola here. I'm picking Archuleta, win, decision. I expect him to outstrike Barzola. Both guys good wrestlers. I wouldn't be shocked if there's wrestling. They're both definitely going to look to shoot here. Archuleta, I do think, is a little bit better in the wrestling department, though. Definitely more athletic and faster than Enrique Barzola. And I think on the stand-up game, you're going to see that on display. Now, Archuleta is minus 115, ever so slight as the favorite, minus 104 for Barzola, the underdog. We're riding with Archuleta to win, getting himself back into title contention. He's definitely a top Bellator bantamweight, and I want to see more fights of Archuleta towards the top because he's game, man. He's game as fuck. I mean, you look, he also went distance with Patricio Pitbull. To me, that holds a ton of weight. Look at his wins, right? Henry Carlyle is a pretty decent fighter, but beating Patchy Mix, that's a quality win to have on the resume. I know it was 2 years ago now, but he won the belt with that fight. I think that freaking win is aging extremely well now. Archuleta should beat Barzola here. I'm going to say he does it by a decision against a game Barzola. Next fight on the card, it is our featured bout of the night, Aaron Pico and Jeremy Kennedy. I'm going to be picking Aaron Pico, as the vast majority probably will. Kennedy, though, he's well-rounded, man. He's got good wrestling skills. He really controlled Emmanuel Sanchez throughout their entire fight. He was able to get his back, control him from there. He's a good grappler alongside with the wrestling too. His stand-up game is pretty solid as well. It's a balanced kickboxing style, but he doesn't have any like it factors as far as a stand-up. Whereas Aaron Pico's a freak. He's got beast wrestling. The dude's an absolute stud. He's a freak athlete. He's got insane punching power. His boxing is excellent. He finds shots really well. He just has that awesome precision. I really think Aaron Pico is a future title challenger here in Bellator, and he's getting better and better each fight. I'm saying Aaron Pico by knockout. I'm thinking 2nd or 3rd round KO. Knocking out Jeremy Kennedy will be an excellent win for him and will jump the stock way up. I think he's going to sleep him here. I think Pico's hands will be on display. I don't think Kennedy will get near the legs of Pico. I could see Pico taking Kennedy down and controlling a bit. We have seen Aaron Pico with a much more patient game than we saw in the past, where, let's be honest, Pico found himself in trouble using too much of that athleticism, trying to brawl and knock these guys out. As soon as he started being a bit more technical, he's destroying everyone he faces. I think he's going to destroy Jeremy Kennedy here. I think he's going to win, probably by a knockout, but don't be surprised if he mixes in the wrestling too and then is able to find punches on the feet. So we'll ride with Aaron Pico for the win. Pico is, of course, a minus 600 favorite. There's no play there. Plus 425 for Jeremy Kennedy as the dog. I don't think this line should be this wide. Jeremy Kennedy's a good fighter. It should be minus 250, minus 300. Instead, it's minus 600 because it's Bellator and it's Aaron Pico. We'll pick Pico. We'll say knockout. Good fight there. Co-main event of the evening. It's AJ McKee versus Spike Carlyle. Listen, I like AJ McKee. You have to pick McKee, but Spike Carlyle is extremely game. He has a very good grappling skill set. He's really athletic. He actually has really sneaky knockout power. If he lets the hands fly, they can do some serious damage. Now, he is pretty damn jacked for, being 5'8", fighting at 155 pounds. He's stocky. He's not going to be easy for AJ McKee to bully. A lot of guys, AJ McKee's kind of able to manhandle, do all these weird submissions too. That's not Spike Carlyle. He's very game. I think Carlyle goes the full 3, but McKee is just vastly better. He's a lot better as far as the technical kickboxing. I think he's definitely better as far as the submission skill set goes offensively, though Carlyle's extremely good with the grappling. I think you'll see AJ McKee work the stand-up, outstrike Carlyle, look to mix in some takedowns here. Carlyle will go the distance, and I think in loss, Carlyle could still bump his stock up a bit by lasting, going the full 3. I mean, the last guy that was able to survive AJ McKee and, lose the fight, I know Pitbull just beat him on the scorecards in a very competitive decision, Pat Curran. I think that Spike Carlyle loses fairly handily, 30-27. I think McKee outstrikes him. I do think there'll be moments where they grapple a bit, and I see McKee finding himself on top of Carlyle as well, but I don't think he gets the finish. I'm going to go AJ McKee to win a decision over the game Spike Carlyle in the co-main event. McKee is minus 425, insanely wide favorite, but for good reason. He's, maybe top 2 best fighters in Bellator pound for pound. Only loss to the man that he beat, Patricio Pitbull, who's also fighting in the main event. Minus 425 McKee, plus 346 for Spike Carlyle. I like AJ McKee to win and look good at lightweight. I'm very excited to see what he does in this weight class. A dominant win here. He's probably fighting for the belt very soon. AJ McKee, the winner of our co-main event. I'll say decision. Main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to smash the hell out of the like button. It is Patricio Pitbull versus Adam Borics. I'm going to be picking Patricio Pitbull, but Adam Borics is no easy out. The dude is 18-1. He has an incredibly improved skill set. You saw that loss a while back now, almost 3 years ago to Darren Caldwell. He was submitted. He has looked really good at 145 pounds. His kickboxing is excellent. He fights really well from distance. He beat up Mads Brunel for 5 rounds. The gas tank is there. Patricio Pitbull, though, is a special fighter. He has fight-ending knockout power. He has insane submission skills. He can just find subs better than fighters. There's certain guys that just have the it. Patricio is definitely one of them. Adam Borics, though, is an excellent martial artist, one of the best featherweights on the planet. I think this is a very game test for Patricio Pitbull, especially because he's given up 5 inches in the reach. That's a factor to me. 5 inches in the height, 5 inches in the reach. Adam Borics is good from the outside, but can he keep Pitbull off of him? Don't be surprised if Patricio Pitbull looks to grapple a bit here. I could see him finding success with trips inside, getting Adam Borics to the floor. I could see Pitbull doing good work from the top, looking for submissions. Not impossible feat to see Pitbull winning by sub, but I'm actually going to say Borics survives and goes the full 5, competitive decision. If I have to give you a card, I'll say 49-46 in favor of Patricio Pitbull, but definitely possible Adam Borics takes a round here because the guy's an absolute machine. And the best contender at featherweight for Patricio Pitbull. I think this is an excellent fight. I think Pitbull wins again. He finds himself in a very interesting position. Maybe he jumps up to 55. Maybe that AJ McKee trilogy fight happens. I don't know what they're going to do with Pitbull after this one. He definitely has to not look past an Adam Borics who's hungry as hell, 29 years of age, in his prime, 18-1 record. This is the best test we can get for Patricio aside from an AJ McKee at featherweight. I love the matchup. I think Pitbull definitely has a power punching advantage. I think he has a jiu-jitsu advantage. I think Borics has better kickboxing from distance for sure, but I think what's going to happen is Pitbull will close that gap. I could see Pitbull touching him with some good punches. I think Pitbull, honestly, best case scenario is he actually looks to wrestle a bit here. I think he's got to put Borics against the cage, work trips from there. Because if he does get into a kickboxing fight from distance, it's not impossible for Borics to outstrike him from range. I don't think that happens, though. I think Patricio also having that X factor of power could stun Borics, which will then just lead to more success in all areas of the fight. Patricio Pitbull to win. I will call it by decision, though. As far as the odds here, Pitbull is minus 160 as the favorite. Adam Borics is sitting at plus 140 as the underdog. Very good fight. Very good Bellator card. Bellator 286 coming with some heat. Now, guys, there is a hurricane in my area, so I don't know how many videos I'll be able to drop in the next couple of days. Stay tuned. I'll be giving updates as much as I can. If the power and service goes out, though, I may go ghost on you guys. I'll be all right. I'll be back as soon as possible. If I can get videos up, I will. Because of that, I'm going to throw you guys some parlays for Bellator in case this week's Best MMA Bets doesn't happen, or in case there's no weigh-in recap show. For that reason, I'm going to throw them out. Now, parlay for Bellator. Let's look at the lines here and let's see if we can come up with something worth playing. I want to be very intelligent with where my parlays line up. I don't want to go too crazy with them, but I think I have to take picks that make a lot of sense. I think Khalid Murtazaliev is a very smart pick. Weber Almeida, another very smart pick here. Continue to move up. I think I'll skip on some of these closer lines here. I think Keoni Diggs, lock. We're at plus 130 for this one. I know the lines are ugly, but we have to play these, fairly large favorites in matchups where they should certainly win. You can't really play Pico in them. You can't play Carlyle because I think Carlyle McKee is a competitive fight. You could throw Patricio at the top to bring you to plus 300 if you want to throw the champ in there. If you don't want to have the champ, I think 3 good guys fighting on the prelims that are locks here at plus 130. This could be a pretty quality play. I don't want to go absolutely nuts, but you could add Palencia in and then also add in Lance Gibson, but you're barely getting anything with adding Lance Gibson, but I'm so confident that he wins the fight. If we added Patricio there, plus 447. Overall, guys, I think be very cautious with your Bellator bets and parlays. Play this shit intelligently, especially on the prelims. Watch out. There's some crazy underdogs that win. Bellator, a lot of times, just doesn't make sense. You have certain fights that you think are locks, and then the lock loses. You have certain fights where you think the dog's got a beautiful shot, and he gets absolutely annihilated. This is Bellator. Let's enjoy the hell out of it, though, because I think we're going to be in store for a fun card. Hopefully, I'll be able to do a fight companion for the Bellator card after the UFC event. So, big things coming. Stay tuned. Smash the likes if you're new. Subscribe. Make sure to share the video as well, and post notifications. Turn them on. Don't put them on personalized. Put them on all so you don't miss a video. Plenty of content dropping on the MMA Experts channel. Much love, my people. Let me know what you think of the picks in the comments. If you don't have anything to say, but you enjoy the content, as always, drop a W in the chat. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Much love, guys. Wish me luck through Hurricane Ian, and I will see you all very soon. Peace, everyone.